Today, we are here to celebrate and recognize the amazing work just completed here at Plum Brook Station by the combined NASA, Lockheed Martin, ESA, and Airbus team. Behind me is the Orion spacecraft, or Artemis-1. Don't you think it's a beauty? Yeah. Absolutely. We just completed the testing and is now being prepared to travel back to Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Over the past 4 months, our team has been hard at work, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They have subjected the spacecraft to extreme temperatures and the vacuum of space. And they heat it with radio frequencies to ensure all of its electronics will work to the most taxing situations. The spacecraft has passed all of its testing and is ready to return to the Space Coast. We'll hear more about what's next for Orion and the completed test for the program manager Mark Krasik and Nicole Smith, the test project manager, here in a moment. But I want to express how proud I am of the team here at Plum Brook and how proud we are to be on the critical path to Artemis-1. Let's hear it for the team. Congratulations on a work job. These are exciting times for NASA as Artemis will usher in the new era of space exploration and light our way to Mars. We will see the first woman and the next man step foot on the moon, while reaffirming the United States as the global leader in space exploration. To be sure, returning to the moon in 2024 will not be an easy task. And to get there, America needs the Artemis program and NASA needs Ohio support. We are proud of the role NASA plays in getting Artemis off the ground. Thank you.
Thank you, Mama. Can you hear me? Is this great? Thank you. Thanks, Mama. And welcome, Congresswoman, and welcome all of the guests who joined us here today. I really appreciate you coming here today to help us recognize a very, very big day, the completion of our spacecraft environmental testing here at Plum Brook Station. My name is Mark Karasich. I'm NASA's Orion Program Manager. I'm from the Johnson Space Center. And it was a year ago, it was March 2019, when Vice President Pence gave us this incredible challenge, this really incredible opportunity to land by 2024 the first woman, the next man on the surface of the moon. And over the past year, I can tell you that people at NASA, engineers, technicians, and especially engineers and technicians on the Orion program have been working really, really hard to implement that goal. And nowhere is that more evident than here today at Plum Brook Station in Sandusky, Ohio. And you can see right behind us here, Marla called it, I know I feel that way every day, an incredibly beautiful Artemis-1 spacecraft. It's this spacecraft behind me that about a year from now will be on its way to the moon, taking the first unmanned test flight from the Earth back to the moon since the end of the Apollo program. And not only do we have work going on here, we have a total of three Artemis missions planned. Artemis-1, which will be unmanned, Artemis-2, which will be the first crewed mission, and Artemis-3 will be the capsule that takes the people to the moon that will land on the moon. We're making progress on all those flights. In fact, today, as we're here in Ohio, we have technicians down in Florida at the Kennedy Space Center working on the Artemis-2 spacecraft, the crew module, and in Bremen, Germany, working on the Artemis-2 service module. And if we were there today instead of here in Plum Brook, you would see crew modules and service modules taking the form of the spacecraft that you see behind us. Right behind them are the Artemis-3 spacecraft, and we are in long lead procurement for the parts that make up the spacecraft that will carry the next man and this first woman all across the country. Machine shops in California, machine shops in Illinois. Electronic parts houses are all preparing parts for these spacecraft. The same in Germany at the TASI. TASI is a European contractor in Turin, Italy. They are busy building the structure that will become the ESA service module number 3 for this great trip. So that brings us back here to Plum Brook and why we did this test. You know, it's not easy to send people on this journey, on a journey of 250,000 miles in really harsh, really extreme environments of space. It takes a lot of a lot of careful design, a lot of really thoughtful processes that the engineers do to build a spacecraft that can withstand these environments. And what we do once we have developed and manufactured the spacecraft, we bring it to a facility like this, really a world-class, one-of-a-kind, state-of-the-art facility that subjected Orion to the extreme environments that it's going to see during its journey. The person who will talk next is Nicole Smith, who managed this testing for Orion here at Plum Brook. We'll go into more detail, but in summary, we exposed the spacecraft to temperatures as high as 300 degrees and as low as minus 250 degrees. And throughout that time, well, it was very cold and in a complete vacuum outside of the spacecraft. Inside the spacecraft was kept very warm and close to 65 degrees throughout. Throughout the 50-some-odd days that we were in the chamber of the spacecraft, first of all, the facility performed flawlessly. It was very easy to execute the test, and even better for me, the spacecraft was incredible. We have thermal control systems, pumps, everything worked exactly as designed. We really had no issues throughout the test. So it was a fantastic thing. We got a lot of data. Our engineers analyzed everything ahead of time. Even then, when we put the heat lamps on, when we put the cold shrouds, certain parts of the spacecraft cooled off quicker, some slower than other parts. So we take all this data, we update our models, and it helps us one more step on the way to flight. But most important to me were the people who made this test happen. We had the test team included spacecraft engineers from literally around the world. Our prime contractor, and by the way, Mike Hawes from the Lockheed Martin Corporation, who's the program manager who built the spacecraft while he's here today. Mike had his team here. We had representatives from NASA, the European Space Agency, and their contractor team, Airbus and TASI here throughout, as well as some very dedicated, very talented people from the Glenn Research Center, and particularly here from the Plum Brook Station. And General Stringer, Dave, thank you very much for your team. They made this test look easy, and I know it wasn't. We flew the spacecraft here in November. We got to Mansfield Airport. I know many of you, I recognize the faces. A very cold day in November. We've been here about four months. We drove it up the road, and we started the thermal vacuum test in December, 5 days before Christmas. And when you bring a chamber down to vacuum and then you make it cold, it's not like you start and stop and, hey, it's 5 o'clock, time to go home. We ran the test 24 hours a day, over 50 days, and that meant people, teams, 20 and 30 people per shift that gave up their Christmas, their New Year's to be here and get us through this test. And in fact, I was here New Year's, we helped them celebrate, and it was amazing how motivated, how pumped up, how excited the team was to be here spending their New Year's Eve. About 10 p.m., they were just incredibly excited as they passed new milestones in the test. So I want to really extend my thanks from the program to the team that made this happen. So to talk a little bit more about that, I want to introduce Nicole Smith. Nicole is somebody I worked with really closely for 3 years. I'm from Johnson. She was here at Plum Brook. She, in my view, is the person who made the test happen. Everything from clearing, we had to drive from Mansfield Airport here to Plum Brook. And if you've seen the spacecraft once on a truck, it's a very wide load. Nicole, what was it, 1,000 light poles and traffic lights and power lines had to be moved. Nicole worked with the state to make all that happen. Nicole modified and upgraded the facilities, and Nicole oversaw the test. So Nicole, thank you for what you did, and congratulations.
Hi everyone, thank you Mark for that lovely compliment. But of course, all of this was a humongous team effort. I just want to say thank you so much, especially to the team here at Plum Brook Station. You guys are so amazing and just really incredibly talented. But of course, we all work together. Our Lockheed Martin friends who were here as part of the spacecraft team, all the folks in the control room, all the technicians out here on the floor, and of course our partners with ESA and Airbus were really incredible. So it's not always easy pulling across so many time zones and different organizations, but especially the last 4 months, it's really a testament to how amazing these groups are, and all the engineers. Today is Pi Day, 3.14, so we all have pi. You know, we try to do some fun stuff too, since it's been a long 4 months, lots of nights. So anyway, so Mark was talking a little bit about coming in. We flew into Mansfield on November 24th, so we're almost exactly 4 months. They brought the spacecraft in on NASA's Super Guppy. It was like a 3-leg flight to get it up here from Florida, and then we loaded it on a really, really huge truck and drove it up here from Mansfield, which was pretty amazing to see that all by itself. And as Mark mentioned, we had to work with a lot of different utility companies, the state of Ohio, local towns, local counties, who were really supportive of all of us, and we had a really great transportation company that helped coordinate all the logistics of that, and they're local too, so it was wonderful working with them. Once it got here, for anybody who can turn around and look, there is a big piece of tooling that we actually had to stand the spacecraft up because it came up here laying down. So we stood it up into the position that you see now and lifted it on the floor that it's on right behind me, which is part of the cryo system that makes the cold background of space. We had to put about 2,000 pieces of instrumentation on it, get it all ready to roll into the chamber, hook it all up inside of the vacuum chamber, check everything out. Every single piece of instrumentation had to be checked out, make sure it worked. And then we had to close these big walls around it. Those are the cryo shrouds. We use gaseous nitrogen in them. As Mark was mentioning, it goes down to minus 250 degrees Fahrenheit. It also had a cage around it that was heaters, so we could get it up to as high as 300 degrees, although I think the highest was about 180 on the surface in a couple places. Sorry, microphone. So over the course of 47 days, we had the chamber pumped down to 10 to the minus 6 torr, which in PSI is a decimal and about 7 zeros. So I won't even try to count that out on my fingers today for everyone. So we had all the air pumped out of the chamber, and we ramped the temperature down to cold and to hot, and did that a couple of different times. So 47 days was actually a little shorter than what we had originally planned. But the spacecraft and the facility performed so amazingly. We found a lot of efficiencies, and we were able to complete the test that quickly. Once we were done, we brought it back out here, took all of the thermal vacuum instrumentation off, and got it ready to do electromagnetic capability or compatibility and electromagnetic interference testing. Brought it back into this chamber and closed the aluminum doors. This chamber, it turns out, is a really great reverberant radio frequency chamber. So we seal it up so none of the RF can get out of the chamber, and then we can bathe the spacecraft in RF signals to test all of the electronic equipment and make sure that it all keeps working if it has an external source of radio frequency. So we spent about 12, 14 days doing that type of testing, and again, it really performed great. Our systems did too. I won't say that we didn't have a couple little hiccups, but our team is so good at dealing with any sort of a hiccup that they got right in there and got it all fixed, and we just kept on going. And here we are today, ready to get packed up and sent back down the road to Mansfield, to the Super Guppy, to Florida to launch. So we are so proud to have been part of this. I can't wait to see it launch. Hopefully I'll get to be there. And thank you all for coming to help us celebrate this day. Back to Marla.
So as I said before, these are very exciting times for NASA and our center and the 100 of aerospace companies across Ohio. But none of this would be possible without the unwavering support of the American people and our elected officials. I would now like to ask Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur to say a few words about as she helps us celebrate this completed milestone and wish Orion a safe journey back to Kennedy and on to the moon. This goes without saying that it has been in very unusual circumstances in our country, and I really, really appreciate you being here today. She has had a long week, and goes without saying too, long day. She made it here last night, and she's here with us today. That is the kind of commitment that we have for the state of Ohio, and we couldn't be more appreciative of that support. Thank you. Representative Kaptur, welcome to Plum Brook Station.
Thank you very much. I want to say to Dr. Marla, the director of this center, she is the first woman of Puerto Rican heritage to head any of the NASA centers, the 10 of them around the country. So we are very proud of you. Very proud of you. We are all here together today to thank Lockheed, to thank Nicole, your marvelous explanations of what it took in order to create this moment for the people who live in free nations, ours and our European partners in this important project. I begin with a thought from John Glenn, Senator and Colonel. When you read his history, he said, people keep talking about how we have to go to Mars. And he was thinking about that in his own life and in terms of his own reflection on his first flight around Earth. He said, I don't know what you could say about a day in which you've seen 4 beautiful sunsets. So we think about those who came before us and we follow in their footsteps. I'm the EVA. I'm the sort of attachment from the American people through the committee on which I serve, which funds NASA around our country as a connector. So I'm a connector cord, and that's my role here today. So we celebrate today our country, your presence here. We celebrate the patriotism, your patriotism, and the fervor of the American people. And we celebrate with this enormous accomplishment, the vision and genius and adventure that is so much a part of the American spirit. In fact, the very idea of our nation at its founding was shaped by explorers, by pioneers, by sailors and adventurers who embraced the unknown. And today, every one of you and us together as a people represent the true spirit of America, a beacon of hope for all humankind. The mastery and mystery you encompass in your professions for those who have been quickly involved in the creation of what we stand in front of today. Scientists, engineers, technicians, communications experts, material scientists, manufacturing experts, support staff in every walk of life impress our community, our country, and the whole world community. You lift America to the heavens and beyond. You help our people and the world's people better understand the fragile and awesome conditions of life on Earth enveloped in the galaxies beyond. America, through you, is molded and reborn in places like Plum Brook Station here in Erie County, hidden from the view of most Americans, but yet here goes on the quiet, steady work that creative genius produces. The Orion capsule is testimony to humankind's advance. It results from countless hours of study and hard work and discipline, both mental and physical, by partners on both sides of the Atlantic, a consortium of free nations. The European Space Agency is a full partner for development and construction of Orion. Let me observe that the testing that has occurred here in Ohio is no accident. Plum Brook has unrivaled capabilities and over $1 billion of capital investment at this test facility, critical to America's exploration mission. America's and Europe's success in the cosmos runs right through Erie County. We want to thank all of the officials who are here from the county, from the state, because this was a great partnership even to widen the roadway to get this massive item to the Super Guppy that awaits it. We celebrate the finalized testing of the service module and the crew capsule. And please let me observe that the crew capsule was built in the United States from parts from all 50 states. Making it in America matters. It really matters. For those of you who represent the firms that have done that, thank you. Thank you for helping America become even greater. And while the service module is a contribution by our European partners, the complex integration work of the service module has been coordinated by the Glenn Research Center ahead of schedule. So in closing, today is a celebration of the present and the future. Today is a culmination of the ingenuity of a free people. You represent the hope for a future of more cooperation, of more scientific exploration, and expansion of our scientific vision for sustaining life for the tomorrows to come. Congratulations to all of you on behalf of the members of the Ohio Congressional Delegation and indeed the Congress of the United States. Thank you for what you are doing for the future of our country and scientific exploration to assist generations to come. Thank you.
Again, the spacecraft performed incredibly well this year. It was amazing to watch how well all the systems, and we had the spacecraft powered up over 1,500 hours, so 1,500 hours of runtime on all the electronics, all of the computer systems, the pumps, everything worked perfectly. So, what's next for this particular spacecraft? As soon as we all clear out here today, the Lockheed Martin team is ready. They're going to start packing it up for a trip back home. And that involves putting it on that big device back there, wrapping it, we put it in a protective covering, and then in a couple of days we will drive it down to Mansfield again for the flight back. Once we get back to Kennedy Space Center, what you see today is, I would say, complete and almost complete Artemis Orion spacecraft. There are just a very few final assembly steps we have to do when it gets back to Kennedy. One of which is to install the solar arrays. You can see in the photo down here, we have regenerable power and we have solar arrays. We could not, if you can imagine with the solar arrays sticking out, you couldn't put those thermal shrouds close enough to the spacecraft to keep it to cool it down, so we did not include the solar arrays in this test. That's really the last major assembly step we have, and then I can really say assembly is complete. After that, there's some final testing we do. For example, we do final leak checks of all of our plumbing, of our prop tanks to make everything with all the transportation, with all the workers stationed here, that everything is still leak tight. So we have a couple of weeks of final rigorous testing in Kennedy. And all of that takes about 2.5 months. So if we get back in late March, by June-ish timeframe, Orion, Artemis-1, the Orion spacecraft will be ready to hand over. And we hand over to our sister program, the Ground Processing Organization at the Kennedy Space Center, and we'll wait for the core stage, the primary new feature to the new SLS rocket. It's in a test-in, an equally impressive facility. Well, maybe not quite as impressive. close, Marla, but a really impressive rocket engine testing facility at the Stennis Space Center in Mississippi. It will be test firing this summer. When that's done, it'll go to Kennedy Space Center, and then we'll integrate the rocket for launch, hopefully about a year from now.